Hey, YouTube and F and true followers of the YWC, JC Styles here.
Brian Crazy.
And we are here with our WrestleMania epic discussions. We are here with a
Or
special
epic discussion of WrestleMania.
we are here with a special guest, so we're going to allow him to introduce himself and plug his channel. So, Irock, why don't you go ahead and do that?
All right, guys, it's Irocknunoit91. I don't know if you guys know me a lot, but I have a couple of subscribers on my channel. But I've been watching wrestling since a long time. When I was growing up, I loved the Ultimate Warrior. I just think I thought he was like the shit back in the day. But he was a total bust or whatever. But so I'm here with F and True Wrestling tonight. Just gonna talk about WrestleMania.
Alrighty. Now, for those of you who don't know, we actually bumped into Irock at the Wrestling House show on the 19th. He was actually one row in front of us, a little further down. We didn't find out until after we got home, so we figured we'd let him get in on the video, and we're going to get right into it. So, Brian, what do you got to say today?
Well, first things first, he mentioned the legendary Ultimate Warrior. So, the first thing that comes to mind is One Warrior Nation. Come on now. That was a great angle. Too bad they didn't really follow through with it. And the second thing that comes to mind about Ultimate Warrior, look up on YouTube. I do like the Warrior myself, but this is the funniest fucking thing going. Somebody took a whole bunch of Ultimate Warrior clips and clipped them together. Type in Warrior is gay, right? And there's this whole segment where he talks about Pat Patterson and Vince McMahon. And then they got this one scene, he's F in it. And oh my God, it's freaking hilarious. So yeah, check that out. It's already got like 1.6 million views. If I could only get that, or me and JC could only get that, but that's okay. But yeah, it's some funny shit. And yeah, Warrior was great. Unfortunately, he ran into so many problems with his professional career. But yes, WrestleMania. This is the epic discussion on it, and JC has put a lot of thought into this, and I'm gonna let him kind of run this show tonight. And more or less, here he is.
All right. So, over the years, we've seen countless great WrestleMania moments. Off the top of my head, Rock, Hogan, WrestleMania 18. We've seen Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. We've seen Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, ladder match, WrestleMania 10. We've even...
And the anonymous general manager.
I am not going to say
PM is here.
We have, we saw over the years, we've seen Hogan Warrior WrestleMania 6. But when you think about WrestleMania, you think back to the very first WrestleMania. You think of Wendy Richter winning the Women's Championship. You think of Mr. T and Hulk Hogan versus the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper, and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Countless WrestleMania moments, history, only venue to ever hold WrestleMania twice back-to-back. WrestleMania 3 and 4 at the Trump Plaza. So, Brian, what do you got to say?
Oh my God, yes. You think of WrestleMania, you think of WrestleMania 3, you think of Hogan and Andre the Giant, you think of WrestleMania 14 when Shawn Michaels passed the torch to Stone Cold Steve Austin. We begun the Attitude Era. You think of the first encounter between Undertaker and Triple H at WrestleMania, and now we're about to see the second encounter this year. There are so many legendary moments in the history of WrestleMania, and hopefully with this video, guys, if some of our fans out there have not gotten to experience all 26 WrestleManias as of today's date, 27 will be happening in the following week. We're going to recap some of those top moments and hopefully encourage some of our younger fans out there to Google some of these moments and learn a little bit about history.
So, Irock, what do you got to say, buddy?
The first thing when I think of WrestleMania is I think of WrestleMania 13, Austin versus Bret Hart. Bret Hart was the face in the match, and then in the match he attacked Austin with a chair, and then he just turned. Everyone just started booing him, and that's when I think when Austin didn't tap out, he was all bloodied up and everything like that. I think after that moment, that's when Austin took off to be what he is now, one of the best ever. So that's what I think of. It's not like way back in the day, but
Oh, I have to agree. Didn't mean to cut you off there, but I have to agree. After the big win at King of the Ring, and then that iconic moment with Austin locked in the sharpshooter and the blood dripping down his face. Honestly, it should have been one of the first moments we mentioned in this, WrestleMania discussion. And thank you for bringing light to that.
I mean, over the years we've seen, title changes. We've seen people turn. We've seen legends become men become legends, icons being born. WrestleMania is the biggest granddaddy of them all. It is all the sports' biggest events of all thrown into one. I mean, we've seen so many. We have the WWE Hall of Fame, which also has been introduced over the last couple of years. That plays a key role into the WrestleMania weekend. So many countless Hall of Famers have been inducted off of just basically off of their WrestleMania status.
Exactly. I mean, you've seen people, not that I so agree with it, but you've seen people like Drew Carey and countless other personalities. Pete Rose. Well, Pete Rose, he did take tombstones 3 years in a row, so he kind of did deserve that. But I mean, like you said, I mean, WrestleMania is the place that makes or breaks a lot of individuals, and they have turned it more than just a one night thing. Like you said, between the Access and the Hall of Fame, it's now that you have like a whole WrestleMania weekend, and in the destination town that they have WrestleMania in, it turns into a whole WrestleMania week. They totally changed the whole climate in the host city for that week. And if you saw the True Story of WrestleMania, I don't know if you've had a chance to check it out yet, but Triple H goes into real discussion about that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Ira, comments?
Yeah, like, when we think of WrestleMania, it's not about like, champion versus champion or, about a title match. It's like, it's the feuds they put together before that, and it's the main event pretty much for them. But it's not like the main event, but every wrestler, it's his time to shine. And if they build it right, do the feuds correctly, that's what WrestleMania is. Like, just everyone showing, their true abilities and what they, give to us fans. That's WrestleMania pretty much. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, a Money in the Bank or, Jeff Hardy jumping out of the ring off a ladder that makes a WrestleMania moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you think of basically stating that wrestlers kick it into another gear? I mean, we've seen countless matches with Shawn Michaels, and he's quote unquote the main event, the icon, the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania. What are your comments on that?
I think he deserves it because like he hasn't been champ like Triple H. He's been champ like so long. He's been champ for a while, but HBK. It's like whenever it's like a big stage, he like gives it all. He gives like 110%. He gives like even if he loses or whatever like that. It's HBK. It's him. He puts on a show, and it's everyone enjoys it. Like WrestleMania 14, Austin versus HBK. That was a good match, but it was a title match. Tyson was a special enforcer. He was supposed to be impartial, but before that, he joined DX. I think it was backstage or something like that.
That's
and
quite
then
correct.
At the end, he double crossed DX, pretty much. But and Austin won the title.
I couldn't agree more. Brian, do you have anything to add to that?
Oh, well, I do have to say, I think HBK being inducted is, it's his time. I think that they really had to wait for him to finally wind down his in-ring career, which only happened last year at WrestleMania. So naturally, he couldn't be inducted with that class. They had to wait until this class. But, as soon as his in-ring career winded down, he was automatically chosen for the following class. So I think that is a, sign of respect. That the WWE had invested in him and Vince McMahon believed in him all these years. And funny enough, when he was first brought to the WWF, he was actually let go for a year due to an incident before they were even brought up to the main roster. And, for you guys out there that don't know, check out some of the footage in the Universal Wrestling Federation, which was the evolution of Mid-South. And also check out some of his stuff in the AWA. Phenomenal work. Him and Marty Jannetty. So, yeah, Shawn Michaels is very deserving, and I can't wait to see him have his moment the night before WrestleMania.
But
Yes.
don't you guys think they're putting him in the Hall of Fame too soon, though?
I don't. To be honest, I don't. I wouldn't say no, but I wouldn't say yes. Like Brian said, I had to wait for his career to wind down for him to be inducted. I mean, Ric Flair was inducted the night before his last match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24.
But Ric Flair's career was also a lot longer, and I do kind of
Yeah.
see what you're saying a little bit, and I don't know. I'll be really honest. The Hall of Fame is a big political game in the WWE. I mean, I do believe in it. Don't get me wrong, and I do believe that these superstars get their chance to shine. But as superstar Billy Graham had such an issue with it, there is no physical building for this Hall of Fame. Vince McMahon really does not have the intention of ever building one at this time, even though there is memorabilia stored in a warehouse somewhere, probably in Jersey. But but it's. He actually sold his Hall of Fame ring on eBay. I don't know if you knew that, but it is a big political game. And there's a lot of superstars that should be in the Hall of Fame. The exact year that they were inducted, why they were inducted, when they were inducted, who was left out. I mean, if you analyze all these things, you can see there's a lot of favoritism in this. We were discussing the Hall of Fame, and I was kind of touching on the subject how I believe it's kind of a political game that the WWE is currently playing. But, of course, it's their Hall of Fame, and they can do that. Like I touched on, Superstar Billy Graham, him selling his Hall of Fame ring on eBay due to Vince McMahon not having the intention of building a physical building. And also, who's been inducted, why they've been inducted, and the people that have kind of been missed out. Like, perfect guy that comes to mind, Gorgeous George. Why did it take him so long to induct Gorgeous George? He should have been done in the first year. Yeah. I mean, they should analyze the decades in wrestling. We should go decade by decade, and we should get all of the superstars that deserve to be recognized. Yeah. And, definitely Gorgeous George was one of them. He is, the man that could almost be single-handedly responsible for sports entertainment. I mean, he is the first one to come out to ring entrance, Pomp and Circumstance was the song. And, I mean, we're going to get a little off subject with that, though. But, guys, leave your thoughts about the Hall of Fame and who you'd like to see inducted, who has been inducted, you don't understand why, and maybe we can touch on those in the comment box.
That could be another video we can do. Just the people that don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. There's so many I can name right now, but I won't.
While we're on the subject of the Hall of Fame, that
is a good idea, though, because, I mean, there's plenty of guys that were deserving.
They inducted 2 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. Luke the Refrigerator something for winning the 1992 being the longest celebrity to last in the Royal Rumble.
Well, there's always been a celebrity crossover with WrestleMania. I mean, like some of the good choices. Cowboy Bill Watts,
that was
good
the
choice.
Royal Rumble.
Dory Funk, good choice. Drew Carey.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, I think you're trying to miss the concept is where I was going. Rob, whatever, the Refrigerator, I'll just call him the Refrigerator. He was inducted for his performance in the Royal Rumble, but I think they're overshadowing Lawrence Taylor, who actually competed at WrestleMania 11 against Bam Bam Bigelow in the main event.
Oh, yeah, that was a phenomenal match. Lawrence Taylor was very excited, and that actually took place right here in Hartford, Connecticut, at the Hartford Civic Center, and where we were mentioning the house show that we saw earlier. And, guys, we will be back to the WWE on April 11th to see Monday Night Raw. And
so, Irock, what do you have to add to the Lawrence Taylor?
Nothing much. I really don't care about celebrity fucking shit. I really don't care.
Well, what do you think about this, though? Do you think that some of the success of WrestleMania was based early on the Rock and Wrestling connection and the celebrity tie-ins that they've been able to bring in? I mean, without some of these celebrity tie-ins, example, Tyson, in the early days, Mr. T, Wendy Richter.
Yeah, they had Muhammad Ali. Wasn't he the referee in WrestleMania 1 main event? It was Hogan and Piper versus Orndorff and wherever the hell it was. I think Muhammad Ali was the referee for that.
Yes, he was. Quite correct.
Well, let's. What about Cyndi Lauper? She was in the corner of Wendy Richter when she won the women's championship at WrestleMania 1.
Well, I think we can all agree, the three of us, that some crossovers have been okay. Some crossovers we could all pass on, and I think Pete Rose getting tombstoned by Kane 3 years in a row is fucking classic, especially when he had the chicken suit on. But
what about WrestleMania 14?
I'm a Yankees fan, so I
left tickets at the box office for Bill Buckner, but he couldn't bend over to pick them up. How about it?
He's the Cincinnati Red. Did I just say he was a Red Sox? Oh my God.
No, yeah, he was Cincinnati Reds. But we've seen in WrestleMania's history, we've seen celebrities, we've seen football players, we've seen baseball players, we've seen basketball players. We've even seen boxing Butterbean.
The brawl for all Butterbean versus Bart Gunn, WrestleMania 15.
15. We've seen Floyd Money Mayweather versus the Big Show, WrestleMania 24.
Well, she should have just cracked that dude right on top of his back.
You know,
I mean, come on. But actually, funny enough, I mean, if you really watch the Big Show's DVD, it's funny enough that the subject of the Big Show came up. He really, up until a few years ago, really had no idea of his way around the wrestling ring at all, except for brute power.
Yes, I think that was a very good DVD. I actually caught that. Irock, have you gotten a chance to see Big Show at Giants World yet?
No, I have not. The latest DVD I saw was the John Cena Experience,
which I thought was pretty decent. What did you think of that?
I thought it wasn't that bad. It was everything like a week before WrestleMania, but it was good backstage. Like backstage stuff they did. They had him preparing for the match. They had what was his entrance? It was like some Marine people came, with the guns and stuff.
With the spinning rifles. Yeah. Actually,
it's something good if you don't know anything about the backstage. But yeah, it wasn't that bad. But the matches on there could have been better. Since it wasn't in HD, you guys had that little when you were watching it, they cut off like half the screen because it wasn't in HD. That's the only thing I didn't like about it.
Yeah, I really don't like that with the new WWE DVDs where they put those panes on either side in the widescreen releases.
Yeah, it's like a watermark.
Yeah, I hate that. And funny enough, in that video, when he visits ESPN, I work in the steel industry, and the cafeteria he was sitting in eating at ESPN with the curved wall, and then there's the bridge connector. The company I was working with at the time, we actually did the structural steel and the miscellaneous iron for the ESPN cafe. So I thought that was pretty neat, getting to see some of my work in actual theatrical release. So that's the way that it kind of touches home.
Back to what you were saying about the Big Show and him not knowing a way around the wrestling ring up until a few years ago. Actually, for those of you who didn't know, when Big Show started to do the publicity, the media and everything with Floyd Money Mayweather, Big Show actually went up to Mayweather prior to him getting punched in the face, and he says, "Hey, look, I want you to hit me as hard as you can." And when Big Show dropped to one knee, I think he hit. Landed 3 clean punches, and they were all on the nose. And Big Show actually did break his nose. Money Mayweather actually did break Big Show's nose, and connected after the first punch. His nose was broken. Landed 2 more after that.
Yeah, you know what that kind of reminds me of a story of? I can't remember which athlete it was, but I remember he wanted to be a professional wrestler, and his trainer on the first fucking day broke his leg.
Broke his leg?
Broke his leg on the first day. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. It's someone that came out of the generation around the same time that Triple H, Foley, those guys. And it might even be one of those guys off the top of my head, but I don't think it is. But I remember that somebody right around that area wanted to be trained. And I don't think they had the respect for the business or the respect for, it's a life of pain. And, you have to understand that. And yet, broke his leg right off the bat, first day. And he came back. He came back and kept fighting. So that's how he made it to where he is today.
And, when we think about WrestleMania, we think about when Bret Hart won his very first WWF Championship title run when he beat Yokozuna at WrestleMania 10.
That was big, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not that I dislike the Hitman, but if I had to pick one of my top 10 WWF superstars or WWE superstars, whatever we want to call the company, crap called Capital Wrestling for all that I care, for the sake of argument, but I don't know. I just don't think Bret Hart would be on my list of top 10.
Well, he's not. I'm saying when you think about WrestleMania, I'm not.
Oh, that was an iconic moment. Don't get me wrong, but I think where I was going with that him not being on my top 10 is, I don't know. I mean, Irock, how much did you enjoy watching Bret Hart in the day?
Well, I liked him. I don't know, but I have his DVD that the 3 disc they came out with. I think in 05 or 06 or whatever it was. But
me and Joey both have it also.
Yeah, it's all pink and white. I don't know what it's called, but
yeah, it's called Bret the Hitman Hart. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
I know you can't see our feed, but we just held it up to show the audience.
Um,
Yeah, I enjoyed watching that, but some of the matches, on that DVD that I really couldn't care about. But I think I don't know if they had the Iron Man match from WrestleMania 12 on there.
no,
I
I
think they
don't think.
did.
I think they actually did. Um, but also, we're on the topic. What about WrestleMania? Let's see. Let me pull the.
Well,
Let
while
me
you're
pull
looking
the.
at your note, I like I said, it's not that I dislike Hart. It's just that I wouldn't say that he was one of my top superstars.
Yeah, like it's like he's not like one of those people like you think of WrestleMania. Like if you think of WrestleMania, you think of Austin and The Rock. It's not like he's one
Hogan
of those
Rock
big
WrestleMania
guys you
18.
think of.
It,
But he's pretty big, but he's not like a WrestleMania guy to me.
exactly.
But when I think of WrestleMania, I think of like only one match that I can think of. It was like I said, WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match.
That was an iconic match. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not too much to say other than that. I mean, it was just a phenomenal contest.
And I think with Rock and Hogan, it was kind of the passing of the torch of Hogan saying, "Okay, I'm giving you the torch. Now
Well,
it's time for you to run with it, brother."
well, this is a funny thing to say. I don't know. Have you seen True Story of WrestleMania yet?
No, I haven't.
All right. Well, in the True Story of WrestleMania, they kind of describe this is the WWE's take on it, of course, not my own personal, but they describe it as we had the Hogan era, then we had the Austin era, and now we're what they call the Cena era. What is your take on that?
I totally agree. To me, I really think for the present, I think Cena is the new Rock. Like you can't really put the Rock and Cena together, but if you look at it now in professional wrestling, Cena is the Rock. Like back in the day, it was the Rock was big. Everyone was on his sack and all that shit. But now it's all Cena. If you like him, if you don't like him, he's busted his ass to get where he's at right now. If you guys understand what I'm saying.
Oh, I totally do. When
People say he only has 5 wrestling moves and all that stuff, but at the house show, I don't know, he did something sick, and everyone cheered for him.
and you know what it is, he
You
might
know,
only
that's
have.
Cena. I think he's good. Let's say I met him a couple of times too. He's a nice superstar. To say hi to and all that. But I haven't met The Rock. I don't know how he is, but in the ring, Cena's fine. Doesn't really bother me. He's huge with WWE. WWE is pretty much like John Cena right now. All the merchandise they sell is pretty much all John Cena.
I do agree with him. John Cena is, he is the current draw of the WWE right now. He fits the bill for, this current PG era that we are currently in. It's not that I dislike Cena. I've said that in plenty of videos. And, to touch on, hey, he might have 5 moves, but Hogan had 5 moves, and everybody knew those 5 moves, though, and, they were loyal to him, and they can name them off. And, sometimes that's what a wrestler needs, that, brand recognition and that easy recognition. Oh, 5-knuckle shuffle. Oh, attitude adjustment. Oh, it's easy for the little kids to get involved. It's easy for all ages to get involved. And, I think Cena definitely is, this generation's Rock. I mean, he's got the mic skill. He's got, the merchandise sales. He's got, the crowd behind him. The people. For The Rock is the C Nation for him, which was Hulkamania for Hulk Hogan. I mean, everybody's got a name for the fan, the Jerichoholics. Then we got,
The Peeps.
The Peeps, exactly. And we could keep going on and on, but I think Joseph's got to mention a moment he wants to talk about. Then
Yes.
Irock's got a moment he wants to talk about. Then we'll touch on our favorite WrestleMania moments.
Yes, like Brian was saying, back when Hogan and Rock hooked up in the ring at WrestleMania 18, it was the crowd didn't know what to make. They didn't know whether to cheer for the Rock, boo the Rock. The same thing with Hogan. They didn't know how to take the Rock. They didn't Hogan. They didn't know whether to cheer or boo. I think that was kind of with Hogan. I mean, The Rock winning that match. I think it was supposed to cement The Rock as passing the torch. But I think WWE didn't, at that point in time, didn't have the intentions on The Rock wanting to pursue movies after that, not too long after that. And I think that's the reason why for so long they scrambled within that 2-year period to try to get someone to fill The Rock's shoes. And then when they seen the way John Cena was blowing up, they jumped on the opportunity to build him up.
To be honest, Vince McMahon didn't like John Cena off the bat at all, and it took a lot for John Cena to endear himself to Vince McMahon, and the same thing with The Miz. And not that I'm a Miz supporter, but that's what happened behind the scenes. So it's our duty as wrestling journalists to report.
Like Irock said at the house show, we seen Cena do some sick crazy moves. Like I said, I found myself that night cheering for even the heels because I didn't know who to
Same
really
here.
cheer for because the way you see them aired on television, and then you go see them in the house show, they have more to offer than what you see on the live television, on the live shows on TV. And I found myself cheering for the Miz, and to be honest, I actually had a time or two I was chanting "Let's go Cena," and he did impress the hell out of me, along with the Miz and guys
Check
like
out the
Ryder.
footage. It is up on our
Yes.
YouTube channel. The main event was phenomenal. I was able to get a couple little clips, but you know, that's all there is for that. Irock, what do you have for your moment?
For your favorite WrestleMania moment?
I had a couple, but we already talked about Hogan and Warrior. It's, you know, it was an IC title for WWF title. I'm not going to go into that. But the moment I liked was Randy Savage versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8. A little background into that was, you know, it's when Ric Flair just started talking crap about Miss Elizabeth, and you know, he went up to Savage and was like, you know, that me and her have a thing, and Savage, you know, that's what all just, you know, started the feud, and that match was just huge. As we know, you know, Savage won. He became a 2-time champ, and that was pretty much it. It was WrestleMania 8. It was I think one of the greatest WrestleMania moments, in my opinion.
We touched on so many of the WrestleMania's greatest moments, greatest matches. I would have to believe, being a Shawn Michaels fan for as long as I've been, from his days from the Rockers, when my brother actually sat me down. He used to make me best of tapes, and I seen Shawn Michaels as the Rockers. The tag team was a great success for him. Then he broke out into the singles career. I would have to say WrestleMania 12, the Iron Man match at the Arrowhead Pond, Shawn Michaels versus Bret the Hitman Hart. That match was fantastic. It's a little rough now to go back and try to sit down and watch it because it was so good, but it was so long. And after you've seen it, like I've seen it like over 1 million times, because again, Shawn Michaels is one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time. You know, also speaking of that, his greatest entrance when he came down from the scaffolding on the zip line, and in the WrestleMania, the true story of WrestleMania, Vince said that he would not put his wrestlers in any danger unless he's physically tried it. And that same exact day, he did the zip line 2 or 3 times before the WrestleMania went on the air. So that is my WrestleMania's favorite moment. Brian, what's yours?
Well, just to throw in a quick tidbit, a lot of people have criticism of Vince McMahon, but he goes out there, he takes bumps in the ring, he trains, and believe it or not, he's in better physical condition than most of the athletes that are actually competing in the ring.
He's in better shape than most of the legends that are in their 60s and 70s now.
Well, to touch on that, you know, Irock did say something about Ric Flair, and everybody out there knows that Ric Flair is my favorite wrestler of all time. And, you know, WrestleMania and Ric Flair were hand in hand for at least a few of them. I mean, Ric Flair is better known, you know, as the face of the NWA and later the face of WCW. But, you know, for the few WrestleManias that he did compete in, it was a phenomenal time.
Well, if you were to pick your favorite WrestleMania moment,
15. Rock versus Austin. There was 4 referees. It took 4 Stone Cold Stunners. We saw Vince McMahon get knocked out by the Big Show. We saw Mankind go to the hospital. We saw
the Big Boss Man lynched from the Hell in a Cell.
Sure fucking did, man. That was great. I remember watching that and I was like, wow, they actually can do this shit. I was like, the cops should so be here right now. I remember being a little boy and like, dude, why aren't the cops showing up? They got a guy like lynched from McCain.
Yeah.
But
that was back in the day when we thought it was actually real.
They preserved kayfabe quite well back then.
And
same. Like back in the day, I thought like, you know, Undertaker was like some demented dude, and I was like legit scared of him. Like
hell yeah, when he was the Ministry persona.
This guy's gonna kill me. I wouldn't even like watch his matches. Like, you know, when he hung Bossman, I was like so terrified. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, like, you know, I watched the
Rock.
Oh, excuse me. I watched the Rocks. I'm sorry. I think we've all seen the Rock 3 disc DVD. It's fantastic.
Sure.
But Undertaker's Deadliest Matches, I remember some of his promos when he was actually sitting there and he wouldn't say a word. And he was actually physically hand-making caskets And that was no. Oh, they just had someone come in, build a bunch of caskets. Then Undertaker was just finishing them off. Taker actually built those caskets. And I think that in the his facial expressions, the makeup and everything, he looked dead.
Well, I think what it was too is I think, and they said it in the best. I can't remember exactly what DVD was the interview, but I know there was a segment with Jim Ross, and it was discussing maybe even was the rise and fall of WCW. I'm not positive off the top of my head, but they were discussing how they started competing with WCW in the Attitude Era, and one of the things they did was embellish the Undertaker's character to that place that he was at the Lord of Darkness, and I think they ruined that. They absolutely ruined that with Vince McMahon being the higher power. Yeah. I mean, you had Undertaker. I mean, it was a phenomenal build. Like, they shouldn't have interjected the corporation, and they shouldn't have interjected Vince McMahon, because right around June, right around King of the Ring '99, that whole fucking storyline just went to shit. Then he got Triple H as champion for the whole rest of the next 2 fucking years. And then, finally we move into, I like the Invasion personally. You didn't get the big card talent, but, it was just, there's a great WrestleMania moment. Shane versus Vince McMahon is what was that, 17?
WrestleMania 17, yes.
Yeah,
coast to coast to the trash can, man.
I think the biggest thing that we've actually overlooked throughout the whole entire video is Undertaker's 18-0 undefeated streak, and I think Arn Anderson himself, the enforcer, said it best. That's like an NFL pro football team going 18 Super Bowls in a row without losing.
Well, Triple H said it best on the True Story of WrestleMania. The streak should never be broken. Now he's going to face him at WrestleMania. So maybe they should have, before they decided to put this program together, they should have considered what interviews they were going to put on this.
But then again, we don't know what's going to happen, because he might have said it, but the way that, come on, the way that they're building this paper,
dude, the Undertaker will not lose at WrestleMania. What do you think, Irock?
I really don't want to see them fight again.
We already saw this.
And the way they're building it, it's like, bro, we've seen this shit 10 years ago, 10, 11 years ago. I don't want to see it again. And the way they're doing it, it's like they never fought before.
Exactly, and they were in their prime then.
Triple H never, stepped in the ring with The Undertaker at all.
They were in their prime, but Triple H wasn't as vicious as he was back then that he is now.
Dude.
I mean, within the last 3 to 4 years, Shawn Michaels said it best. When he channels his mean streak, watch out.
Yeah, but The Undertaker is always
like I've said this in previous videos, all streaks are meant to come to an end. And if they're gonna, I can't see them letting Taker retire at 19-0, and I can't see Triple H retiring.
Triple H
with him losing at WrestleMania. I can't see that. I mean, even Goldberg's streak had to come to an end, and he was 170-something.
Well, Goldberg was, pretty much the only star that, main event level star that WCW ever built during, that later period, the dark days that we won't discuss right now. And I can't see Undertaker retiring undefeated. And I mean, there's not really. I mean, Triple H is done though.
So is the Undertaker. But the thing is, though,
the Undertaker is a big draw.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, like you said, Undertaker couldn't if they couldn't have Undertaker and Sting go for that long. I mean, what are they gonna have? Wait until next year to have Undertaker's streak broken?
I just have to throw this out there: Sting was never a possibility. I know that a lot of people were hopeful. I know there was a lot of speculation. Sting made it very clear years ago he was never going to sign with Vince, and he never will sign with Vince.
Yes, but granted the situation at the moment. Okay, everyone wanted to be Sting, and Sting had his comments, and he said that he couldn't go the way he could, and Taker with the rotator cuff. I mean, sooner or later the streak has to come to an end.
No, not necessarily true. Taker could be,
because to be honest, I mean,
Taker could be this year and then retire, and then it could be over.
But you want to shock the hell out of somebody, out of the viewers. Let the streak end, because you put so much time and effort into the build up.
What's the point of
let me finish.
Okay.
You spend all the time building up this match. This match has tremendous build up, and you're just gonna have a 25-minute match and then have Taker win. It's predictable. You want to get the fans. You want to get the fans with, oh shit. you have to change it up.
It's a WrestleMania tradition for Undertaker to decimate his opponent. Triple H is pretty much done in the game. So is Undertaker. He waited too long to get his rotator cuff fixed, and it's at where it's at. But they're not gonna. It's not gonna happen. Undertaker. It's a WrestleMania. It's a tradition. Undertaker will defeat his opponent. Triple H is pretty much all but done in the wrestling world. And yes, you thought there's great buildup. There's great buildup every year, so the Undertaker can decimate his opponent.
I will go on the record in saying this: if Triple H doesn't win and the streak doesn't end, you will see the biggest bash fest.
There won't be a bash fest at all for me because I'll be proud because the Undertaker did what he had to do. 19-0, baby. That's what it is. What do you think, Irock?
People should be bashing if Undertaker wins. It's the Undertaker. He's not going to lose at he's not going to lose. I think he has one more WrestleMania, but just making him lose now. Look, if you're saying they're having like great promos and stuff. Last year's WrestleMania, they had an awesome promo or a build-up. Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, my bad. But in the match, Shawn Michaels was doing everything he had to do, and everyone was like, holy crap, Taker might lose. And
but going into the match, 95% of the fans knew that Undertaker was going to win, and that's the thing that I don't get about the WWE is that you're going to have so much buildup of this match, and then you're just going to have them go out there for 25 minutes, and then just to have Taker, put the win over Triple H. I mean,
there's probably
that's the biggest problem with WrestleMania in the last couple of years. They have so much buildup with the Undertaker and his opponent at WrestleMania, and then they go out there, they wrestle, and Undertaker wins. I think 50% of the wrestling world wants to see Taker's
No, and I was just about to touch on that.
I personally think he's done. All right, if he wins on Sunday, we're not going to see him ever again. Well, we will see him, but we won't see him for a long time. We won't
see him until WrestleMania.
Here again, and he'll show up a week before WrestleMania. And who is he going to challenge?
There's nobody there. They need to put this streak to end because they have no stars to feud with the Taker anymore.
I just can't see it happening because you say it's 50-50. I just don't see it. I see that 75-25, 75% of the old school wrestling fan wants to see the Undertaker dominate at WrestleMania like he has year in and year out.
Yeah, but that year in and year out is getting old.
Well, let's see let's let the fans decide. Let's leave some comments. This is gonna be a great way to interact. Who do you want to see win, Undertaker or Triple H? I personally want to see Undertaker. JC wants to see Triple H. Irock?
Undertaker.
Undertaker. So let's see what the fans have to say. We'll leave it at that. And then, let's discuss some. We gotta close this out soon, so let's discuss some of these matches that we're gonna have this Sunday.
I think we spend so much time on the Undertaker match. I think we're not gonna even we're gonna let our viewers decide on that. We have John Cena versus The Miz. This has a fantastic build-up, but a lot of speculation right now is if The Rock is gonna turn on Cena and cost him the match, or if The Rock and Cena are in cahoots and they're gonna screw The Miz over. And the same thing with the world title match. I mean, speculation is Christian gonna screw Edge over to kind of feud with Edge for being such a huge success? And is this gonna be Christian's time to shine in the main event?
There's quite a possibility that Christian may screw Edge over. There's a lot of speculation on heel turn, and there's a lot of speculation that Del Rio may pick up the title. And then in the John Cena contest, I've heard that they might be in cahoots, him and The Rock. Or we might even see The Miz retain. There's some speculation. Irock, what do you think about both those contests?
For the first one, the World Heavyweight title, I really think they're building Del Rio like they did Jack Swagger when he won. And he's like a total bust now. He's crap. Jack Swagger, he hasn't done much. He can wrestle, but I really think they're building Del Rio as they did, Jack Swagger.
Not to interrupt you, but just to interject something real quick for the fans. If you guys don't know, Jack Swagger actually became really cocky after that World Heavyweight title reign and became such a pompous asshole backstage. What you see now is actually his punishment, just like they knocked Triple H down the ladder. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yep, that's why they did what they did. He let it go to his head that they gave him the belt so quickly, and this is his punishment.
I think that's what they're doing with Del Rio. If he'll, he's good in the ring, but I think they're just building him too fast. That's that. And then for the WWE Championship match, The Miz and John Cena, I really think everyone thinks that John Cena's going to win. It's John Cena. He won the past WrestleManias, right? He hasn't lost. But I really want The Miz to win.
Yeah,
I really don't want to see John Cena walk out WWE champ.
I don't want to see John Cena walk out champ either. But to be honest, the way that they're building up, I think the Miz is actually going to retain unless there's outside interference by The Rock. But like I said, these two athletes impressed the hell out of me at the house show, and you know what? I'm 50-50, even though that I'm not a big John Cena fan, as you guys know. But it's a 50-50 for me. I want Del Rio to win because I want to see Edge and Christian in the feud, which will push Christian into the main event a little bit. We also will see my boy Daniel Bryan versus the Cuban Bottle of Malox for the United States Championship. Brian, what do you think about that?
Holy shit, that guy is that weight in person.
Sheamus is a tank. I love him.
No, he is. He's fucking amazing.
He's so good. You saw what he did at the house show, right?
Oh, yes.
Ass kick.
He was.
He took the cane to.
Did you hear the thud
tied him up with the ropes
when Sheamus was hitting Daniel Bryan in the chest with his forearm? The thud it was.
I mean, this is the guy that Triple H let him take. Triple H let Sheamus take him out at Extreme Rules, and he felt like for a while this was the guy that was fitting to end Triple H's career. So if the game sees something in Sheamus, and the everyday wrestling fan sees something in Sheamus, there's only a matter of time before he's back on top of the wrestling world.
Okay, what matches would if you were to throw a last minute match on the card besides Money in the Bank, what would you throw on the card?
I don't know. I think I'd throw Drew McIntyre in there because I like the way he fights. But I don't know who against who because I don't really watch SmackDown. It's just pure shit. But I really don't. I don't know. I think I'd put Drew McIntyre in there, though. Somewhere in there. Because he
SmackDown was so much better last year. They have done such bad things with it, I do have to admit.
And then I think if we can go back to the WWE.
Hello?
Humbled up, rap they're building up. It's like they're building up The Rock versus John Cena as the main event. You know what I'm doing? They're building up The Rock and Cena, then they're doing Miz and Cena, and then they're doing The Miz and The Rock. It's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
There's like 3 different angles going into that main event. I do agree.
It's just like a clusterfuck, pretty much. Like, seriously, no one really cares. They just want to see The Rock beat up John Cena. That's that.
What about match that you most likely don't want to see on the card?
The 6-person mixed tag team match. That's something I don't want to see. With Trish Stratus, Snooki, John Morrison, and Dolph Ziggler and Lakeville.
I mean, because Snooki doesn't really have any wrestling ability. The rest of them could probably actually hold a pretty good match. I mean, Michelle McCool is very athletic.
Trish has been training Snooki, so we don't know what Snooki could do until WrestleMania.
But that's a few weeks training. I mean, it's still going to be limited in their ability.
Hey, I mean, if Drew Carey can get in the ring and eliminate the Hardys, God only knows what Snooki could do.
What do you guys think about Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler?
Jerry Lawler needs to make that little shit Michael Cole bleed and bleed bad. And my other thoughts are the coal mine is fucking hilarious, but I'm just waiting for someone to climb over the top or tip the fucking thing over. And did you notice that he actually has graphics on the side of the monitor of his face now? Dude, the guy's fucking hilarious. You do have to admit. I don't like the angle they did with Jim Ross. I really wish Jim Ross put his foot up his ass, but it is what it is.
The match I would like most to see on the card, or I would actually like to be booked on the card. With the current state of WWE Superstars not being aired after the end of April,
it's still going to be aired. It's going to be webcasted for now.
Yeah.
Which there's plenty of people have the internet that don't mind sitting at their computers and watching a quick half-an-hour show.
But
I actually prefer watching movies at my computer at my office chair. It's way more comfortable than my couch, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Because if you lay down, you wouldn't make it to the movie.
Hell no.
But you know what? But given the circumstance that's going on with the Superstars thing, I would actually like to see some of the mid card from Raw, SmackDown, and whatever some of the roster that they had over on Superstars, and have maybe take the best 10 guys all around in the mid card and throw them in maybe a gauntlet type match, or hell, bring back the cruiserweight title. You're gonna have Mystico. You have Evan Bourne. You guys got or the light heavyweight. You have guys like Zack Ryder and Primo and Tyson Kidd and all these guys.
But I mean, come on. How many guys do we honestly have in the Intercontinental title picture? Wade Barrett and Kofi Kingston. Why can't we get?
Forget him.
Yeah, McIntyre. Okay, so we got 3 guys in the picture. Why can't we have Chavo? And Cruiserweight title would be great, but we got to focus on the current titles that they have and some booking and some.
Or maybe what they should do is divide the roster of superstars and put them on the Raw and SmackDown.
Well, there are Raw and SmackDown guys, Joe. These are dark matches that are filmed beforehand. They are Raw dark matches and SmackDown dark matches. All they do is drop the superstar's apron and light up the screen differently with the different design. These are the 2 matches, and 2 matches are filmed between. Those are the 2 dark matches from Raw and the 2 dark matches from SmackDown for that week. That's superstars. That's all it is.
Well, yeah, like, I've seen them when I went to Raw last year. They did superstars.
Yeah, that's all.
They do like a fancy pyro in the beginning too.
The match that I don't know, there isn't really any matches that I'm actually looking forward not to seeing. I think the Snooki 6 tag match is going to be okay. I mean, I'm a big J-Mo fan. I love Trish Stratus to death. I support Ziggler now that I got to see the guy live. I'm not hip on Lay Cool. But, you know, I have a feeling that Snooki is going to probably want to surprise me.
Hot the other day when she was dressed up with a little bump in her hair. What?
I think that Snooki might surprise us. And, you know, this is probably the one of the matches I'm actually looking forward to seeing, given my whole take on the Divas. But Trish Stratus is in there. And Trish Stratus, we know, will refuse to have a bad match.
Well, I think that you're a little unfair to the Divas, too. Because, I mean, why should, you know... Yeah, wrestling was based more around men to start off with, but
I don't have a problem with
in today's
Divas,
society, women should be given a chance to shine.
Where the Divas came from, where the Divas wrestling has come from to where it is now is a joke. I mean,
you still have some very athletic competitors in there.
Yes, but the way that they're booking
Beth Phoenix.
Yes, but the way they're booking
Michelle
the Divas
McCool.
Right now, it's 2-minute filler matches. That's it.
Well, they're so promo heavy. They have 16 minutes of wrestling. Of course, you're going to only get a 2-minute Divas match.
I remember when you would see Trish Stratus and Lita on a Monday night, and they would go for 10 minutes, and they would keep you at the edge of your seat.
Yeah, well, they don't.
Now they don't.
Well, that was some incredible talent we had there. But
to closing out the video, Irock, do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, the only match I really want to see at WrestleMania is Lawler versus Michael Cole. Michael Cole is brilliant. Like, he's in his like own little like box. The way he cuts promos, the way he apologized, you know, you saw that he really wants to, you know, fight at WrestleMania, and I totally respect that out of him. Like, you guys, you know, many people hate him, but the shit he's doing right now is really good for him. Like, he's a major heel right now. He gets booed so much, but you know, I really think he should win, or he should beat the shit out of Lawler.
Brian?
Well, you know, hey, everybody's got their take on it. I think Michael Cole has done an incredible job turning himself into the heel and actually made a lot of fans want to see this match. My personal take on it, though, Jerry Lawler is one of the greatest champions of all time. He's held over 163 championships worldwide, including 50 amazing reigns as Southern Heavyweight Champion in the USWA. So Jerry Lawler definitely is up there with one of my all-time favorite superstars. But that's just my take. Everybody has their own opinion. And the coal mine is fucking brilliant. I'm just waiting for somebody to either tip the fucking thing over or jump over the top. It'll happen. And
my closing moments, I would have to say the only way I can see Michael Cole actually getting out of this match victorious is if he has help from Jack Swagger, or if we see Brian Lawler get involved and cost his father the match. That's the only other way.
Surprise pop-up from my boy, John Bradshaw Layfield.
So, you know, closing thoughts, guys. Please leave your comments, your questions. We're going to try getting Q&A out to you tomorrow night before Raw.
Responses, hate mail, we want it all.
Yes. So please, with our further ado, please subscribe and check out Irocknunoit. His link will be in the description box. He's
directly below this video.
Yes. He does reviews. He does random miscellaneous videos. He's got good content up. So please check him out as us for Effin' True Wrestling. The taglines, Brian.
Hey, you know it's the best thing on YouTube today.
You're either effing true or you're effing screwed. And Irocknunoit, any taglines?
I don't know. I'm just the shit, pretty much. I just do random ass videos and people like them.
I'm just the shit, pretty much. I like that.
I think that should be your tagline. I'm the shit, and I'm pretty much it. All right, guys. Comment, subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow night for Effin' True Q&A, and we will see you tomorrow night, hopefully, with the Monday Night Raw review.
No, I'll be back on Monday Night Raw. Are you going to be back on
Oh,
Monday Night
I
Raw?
always am. That's if you don't fall asleep.
Hey,
week.
I've beaten you to it plenty of times, my brother, so.
So, guys, have a good night.